Yeah, a lot of trading to do today.
To 70. So I'm looking for this pair to consolidate. I think you're at the end of the trend on this pair. You got 200 pips to the down to the ultimate next support. Next ultimate target. You got 200 pips till that area, but you're pretty deep into this trend. I don't think. I think at this point, if you're trying to get into a fresh movement cycle, you're certainly not in it with the dollar yen. So I think there are certainly better other trends available, and I think you might have just missed the dollar yen to move on the downside. So looking at the New Zealand dollar, this is one of my favorite looking pairs on the weekly time frame because this pair has not made it's a developing W1 uptrend. So we've been in this humongous range on the weekly time frame, and I'm really looking for a break of let's move into a smaller time frame. Daily seems a little better. So I'm looking for a break of 0.585 and past there. Just the way these dollar pairs have been moving, if we get this continued dollar weakness and we get New Zealand dollar strength, I don't see a reason why this pair cannot take all this back and go up to 0.624 or 0.625 around that area. I definitely see that as a possibility. The next pair is gold. This pair has been making beautiful moves. You know, gold has just been it pulled back very hard, you know, earlier, and now it's just fallen completely back into its uptrend. It's broken all-time highs, and we're pushing higher. So if you got into this pair earlier this week, you know, 2 days ago when it really
Don't
started
get
to
it.
fall back into its trend, I would certainly hold. I would certainly hold right now. I think you got into a really nice position, and I think you got into a fresh movement cycle. You know, especially I was mentioning this last time on the last session I was on. You know, if you bought
Okay.
when
Okay. All right.
gold was at its all-time
Focus.
highs before, you were pretty much deep into an uptrend. You know, we
Focus.
pulled back pretty hard, and now we've fallen back
Focus.
into the uptrend. That's a fresh movement cycle. You know, this is a fresh D1 trend back to the upside. So I really like seeing that. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful entry. If you got that, you're able to get it earlier this week. And if I was in your position, I would certainly hold gold. You know, certainly scale out some lots, but you know, I'll leave the rest to ride. And that's pretty much the dollar pairs. Now moving on to the Swissies. So let's go into the weekly time frame and all these Swissy pairs. Dollar Swiss we already went over. Euro Swiss. This pair is now currently at support. So all-time support. I think this is, yeah, historical support levels. So just by the way the Swissy has been acting,
That's
it's
why it
been
was the same. We never
treating
changed these ones.
historical support levels with like it's nothing. It's been breaking through them and continuing and pushing past them. So as of right now, we have some euro strength in the market. It's not a lot. It's just very tiny amount, but the Swissy is still very strong. So I don't see a problem with setting a price alert on this pair at 0.920, and past there, you know, I'm looking for this pair to move strongly to the downside. So I just want to see continued Swissy strength, but ultimately, what I want more than anything right now is just a consolidation. I just want these markets to chill out and take a break for a couple days. But of course, it can continue. So you know, it can keep on going. I can be looking for a consolidation, and this pair might break through and just keep moving, and I might have just missed it. But you know, for me personally, I really want to see the market consolidate for a few days. Pound Swiss. Oh, actually, sorry, the Euro Swiss historical. You know, if we break that historical low, you know, I'm just holding it forever, pretty much, until the market's telling me otherwise. You know, we don't have any support after that level of 0.920, so you know, just continuously watch how the pair moves. The Pound Swiss, currently we are at a support level all the way back from, let's see, 2023, and we are just teetering there on the 4-hour. The 1-hour is starting to consolidate, which I really like to see. The 4-hour is starting to lose its momentum now. You know, even though we have a move to the downside, you can see these last couple. You know, today we didn't really make too much of we didn't make too much of an extreme movement on this. It started to lose its juice moving to the downside. So I'm really looking for a break of 1.061, and past there, I think we ultimately have potential. We almost have a clear shot just down to these lows here, 1.020. You know, I think it's certainly a possibility, especially with the Swissy strength that we're seeing in the market. The pound doesn't have, it's more neutral against the currencies in the market, so you know, we don't
A little
really
bit
have
of news
any
at 7.
resistance against the Swissy strength, so I don't see a problem with this pair pushing all the way down.
Alright, let's see what's going on. Are we gonna bounce
Nice
here?
completion of an ABC rally at the
Kinda
high
looks
there,
like it.
high, 3 waves up from the low.
Oh yeah,
That's, you know, typical.
Ooh,
That's like, you know,
we got
that's making new lows.
wrecked right there.
That's clear.
Alright, now we're supposed to go in.
Anti-trend rally.
Oh,
Three
yeah,
waves up from a low is, you know, it's there's only one way this should be going, really.
yeah, that's even better.
jeepers.
Right, so Aussie Swiss, monthly we're in a downtrend. We've broken all historical lows. The Aussie dollar has been, it's more so neutral now. The Aussie dollar weakness has pretty much come out of the 4-hour time frame. So I'm not sure what to really expect with this pair. You know, we still have Swissy strength in the market, but this pair is ranging. It's been ranging, and you know, it's in a 300 pip range. So it's either going to break this support level and continue, or it's going to continuously be in this 300 pip range. I don't know. You know, the Swissy is still strong, but the Aussie dollar is more neutral now. You know, the weakness has come out entirely on the 4-hour. So I'm kind of confused on what what to do on this pair, so I'm going to skip it and then just move on to the next pair, which is New Zealand dollar Swiss. New Zealand dollar Swiss is pretty much a similar story with the Aussie Swiss. It's in this long-term downtrend. We broke out at historical lows, and now we're just in this massive range. So if I'm looking to trade this pair or sell this pair, I'm waiting for it to break the lows at 0.4635.
Order filled. Stop filled.
But
oops.
Just looking at the way
Wrong
this chart
timing.
is moving, and looking at how the weakness of the Aussie
Next time we gotta wait.
kind of come out of the market, I wouldn't be surprised if this pair ranges a little longer and just moves back up.
Wait it out, buddy.
Cat
Wait it
Swiss.
out.
Cat Swiss, same story again. Broke all historical lows.
Order
Daily
filled.
time frame's going down. Weekly time frame's going down. The 4-hour is starting to go sideways and consolidate. It seems like we can have a pullback and then maybe a continuation. A continuation of the downtrend after a pullback. But as of right now, it's consolidating. We don't really have much going on with the Canadian dollar. Swissy is still strong, but again, all of these Swissy pairs, they've been moving in one direction for days, and humongous moves for days. So
Stop
I really
filled.
want to see a consolidation on these Swissy pairs. So right now, even though the Swissy has clear long-term strength and short-term strength too, I really want to see a consolidation on these pairs.
That
The
was
dollar
annoying.
yen, I do remember earlier when I was on, I did mention the Swissy yen was going nowhere. Well, it's pushed up. The reason is because the yen strength has come out of the market. So when you have a tug of war going on between currencies.
Sorry, Nandan, I would like to create one trade. Can I fast just do that?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, of course.
continue. Sorry because of this. It's just something that I watch. It's a small, just a trade, nothing special. But I just want to show that to
Yeah,
users.
please.
Just a moment to. I have just a problem to show. Okay, data stage. Yes, I hope that you see. And right now I create a small buy trade. Okay, just to see like this. I have the problem to type the number of plots here. It's a platform that let me do like this.
Order filled.
Like this. Okay, I will just make a trade here, and I will just describe a little bit more about this trade. First, to say the stop loss will be 3.9049, and my take profit I will make empty right now because I have several things just to show what I want to show here. So,
Stop filled.
On the, I think, let me say maybe 1 hour chart just to represent how that looks like here. So the problem is right now that we have the high of the day, and that high was at 1.3145.
Like that trade.
Then we started to make correction. The interesting thing that correction is made to retest 100 psychological level for US dollar index. And the low that we touched, I think the 10 minutes ago, was in the moment when we touch the 100 level again. So we want to retest that level again, and maybe to continue on the bullish side of British pound dollar. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but what I'm doing is we are bullish today. I hope that we'll continue to be bullish. On the 30-minute chart, we don't have any kind of the proof that there is some falling moments for the British pound dollar or something like that. On the 30-minute chart, when it drove the trend line on the relative strength index, it's a bullish from the April 4. So nothing changed there. We're near that trend line, but we are still above that. And one thing which is important too, today when we divide the high and low, it's a level 1.305. So we are still above that level. And I just want to see, can we hold that level and go maybe again above? And maybe this trade will be losing scalping trade. I don't know, but this is the opening range. So what I'm trying to do, I want to buy the low of the US opening range, and then to try to keep this trade on the right track. The only thing that I'm bothering a little bit, this is I think 5 or 6 session in a row when we have a bullish trend without any session without bearish trend. So this is the only thing that I'm afraid that maybe this trade will not survive. So it's some kind of the scalping trade, even that my stop loss is 40 pips, but with a day when each day we have more than 200 pips, this is the small stop loss. So right now we're approaching and we touch 1.307. I don't want to chase here the lowest low. It's dangerous. I have a wider stop loss, and I just want to see will we survive next 10 minutes. And if we not survive, this trade will touch the stop loss. If we survive, we will see the new high. I hope so. So I just want to see what will happen right now. But sorry that I interrupt you. If you want to continue, please. I will just stop my screen here. Please continue, and sorry because interruption.
No, that's all right. Thank you for sharing that. So I hope the trade works out. Let's go back into. Okay, yeah, the dollar Swiss, or sorry, the Swissy yen. I was saying that we'd had some yen strength earlier in the week, and that strength has pretty much come out. And on this daily time frame, the Swissy is just so strong. It just took the Swiss yen up with it. So earlier when the yen was strong, that's why we had more so of this choppy movements to the upside, because there was a lot of tug of war going on. The Swissy and the yen were fighting for who's going to be stronger. Is it going to be the Swissy strength that's going to continue, or is the new yen strength going to take the Swissy, take over of the Swissy? But
Order filled.
the yen has folded pretty much. The yen strength has pretty much come out of the market, and the Swissy yen, or the Swissy, is still strong. So that's why we have this big move to the upside on the Swiss yen. Let's check.
Let's go. Okay.
Now.
So we're all trying to be locked in.
Again, we had
Lock
strong
it in,
dollar
buddy.
weakness. So today in the main session, we had a lot of.
I feel like it's gonna bounce off the.
Yen strength.
It looks like we're probably gonna lose this trade.
Yen weakness in the market.
Looks like it wants to pop in here, get a little frisky.
We had a lot of yen weakness in the market. So, I'm not seeing anything on the charts really. I took a look at the charts, the yen charts again, and there isn't really much that I'm looking at for long-term.
We got out of that one.
Trades. So it's just mainly just short-term momentum taking over, and yeah, certainly the best trades to take within these last two sessions, within today, was certainly the dollar pairs. The dollar Swiss, in my opinion, was definitely the best move that happened. Even though we have New Zealand dollar going to the upside, it's currently at a major resistance level. So I want to see these pairs consolidate, and if I can get into this dollar New Zealand dollar pair when it breaks out, that'd be fantastic, because I think we have a very strong chance of pushing all the way back to 0.634, 0.635
no.
there. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at in the market. Gold, especially if you got into that trade, congratulations to you on that. I'd certainly hold it. We had some interesting moves on crypto as well.
Stop
The
filled.
last couple of days, we had some strong moves to the upside, and I would consider them as short-term day trades. I don't know if the market is, I don't know if the crypto market, Bitcoin especially, is going to continue going up. The weekly, we're still in a downtrend, but we're starting to lose momentum going to the downside. So we're just kind of ranging. We've been ranging for these last couple of weeks, and just in a range of either 88,797 all the way down to where it made its lows at 75,000. So is it going to continue moving up? I'd love to see it. I really want to see Bitcoin move back up.
It's kind of snap back into the range, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just snap back into the range. So I'm looking for a breakout of this point here at 88.
You know what? I should have took profit while I could.
I'm looking for a breakout of that point, and hopefully the entire crypto market is green.
It's looking like it's gonna fail for a sec.
Trump or anything, just a catalyst
Order
to
filled.
push it out of this range
Stop filled.
potentially
That
make
did
its
not work
all-time
out.
highs and hopefully push back there, push past there. So, yeah, I think these recent moves were more so a day trade. I would consider them as day trades for crypto. You certainly had momentum on your side, but if you're holding it for long term, you can certainly hold it for long term. But it's not too clear if it's going to continue or if it's going to just teeter off and fall back into its range and go down again. But yeah, that's my view on the markets. I really want to see these markets consolidate. That's if you forgot everything
Order
I said,
filled.
the biggest thing you got to take away is I want the market to consolidate before getting into any of these trends. They're fantastic trends available, but you got to have some type of consolidation or pullback.
Yeah. I say this is like in Elliott wave terms, this is the third wave, and very often it doesn't happen until it's kind of too late. In terms of trading, you get this acceleration. You sit there watching, thinking, "Wow, where'd this come from?" And then by the time you think you get the consolidation, it's probably too late to buy the shallow dip. You get a deeper one. Yeah, let me just if I can just present. I'm in a different location at the moment, so hopefully the tech will work. 1 second. Let's see what we have.
Stop filled.
Okay, let me know when you can see this chart of dollar index.
Yep, you can see it now.
Cool. Okay, so basically a long-term chart. I've been banging on about this multi-year down cycle for the dollar that began in February, really. If you go way back to 2008, that was when the last dollar down cycle finished, and it's basically been a bear market rally all the way since 2008. It topped out in 2022. We saw the first leg down, and then we saw an Elliott ABC correction, a three-wave move, which we looked at before. And when you get these three-wave moves, they're typically against the trend. Let's just zoom in there so we can see a bit better. So there's the top of the last cycle. There's the first leg down, an A, a three-wave move B against the trend, and then a C, and that completes that ABC rally. And then obviously after completion of an ABC rally,
All right, let's see what it's doing.
the next leg of the trend.
Got a little sidetracked in my mind here.
So this is actually a wave 3 of this whole sequence from the dollar swing high back in 2022, which I think should take us way down to these lows here, which is quite an aggressive move. I think eventually we'll be below them. But this for me is kind of like we're just breaking down in this. We've trapped the buyers on the breakout to the upside, and now we're ready to go again. And I think this is kind of an acceleration. Maybe we'll get a chance to sell pullbacks once we're through. Maybe not. Maybe it just goes, because obviously once markets start to panic, then you can get some pretty fierce movements. But also, just going further back, it's interesting how it stopped at that orange line, which was the old breakout point from the previous bear market. So we've got this massive level which the market stopped, the rally stopped here, and then we had this retest here which didn't get quite as far. So it's really not a market for the buyers. I know it's become a little bit obvious now, but a few weeks ago and a couple of months ago, when everybody was bullish, it wasn't quite as obvious.
I feel like we are going to come down to
Order
the
filled.
Curve on this thing. So that's dollar
opening.
index. Stop sharing now.
All right, we're just getting some orders in
And we head back.
that we have to get in.
Let's just go back to the go back to the other markets now.
You just want to see your trade related to indices.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop
So
filled.
this is the S&P one. So basically a short with a tight stop, a little bit underwater, but the stop is just above these highs here on the intraday chart. So basically going on the basis that that was the end of the correction first leg down, and then we're just chopping, and then we break down again. So looking for this thing to make new lows for the session, and then I'll be pretty happy that we're on our way. But at the moment, we're still stuck in this kind of overnight session range. But as I say, I think the rally stalled in a really important place, an obvious place to think about a bear market rally. So this the ABC structure here.
You gotta have them upside down.
The buyers
Crazy.
on the longer term chart. If I can just get to the longer term chart again, just to reiterate that point. Let's go to the daily here. So what we've got on the daily chart here, we had the double top here. There's the break from the double top. There's the retest, which stalled at the old support point, and then we've had this big breakdown, and then the corrective rally has stalled right at these lows. This is to me is typical bear market action. When the rally stops at broken support. This is straight out of the textbook. Just get that right. There we go. Just drop that. Yeah. So big breakdown, corrective bounce. So all these people that are long above this line are still underwater. And it looks like we had a nice reversal yesterday.
I just
Today
get it,
chopping,
man.
chopping, but I think once
It's
we start
getting a
to
little
break
crazy.
down, then I think we're back to the bear market. So that's
There we go.
really what
News
I'm
is happening.
kind of looking at on the S&P. There is another. Let's just have a look. Any thoughts on the S&P, guys?
Yes, it's a pretty messy situation. For example, I have on indices one trade. It's a bullish trade from I think yesterday, and I'm in profit. But when I look right now, the market, I see the bearish divergence, and I think that I'm on break even, so there's no risk for that trade. But like you said, right now when I look the market, the daily chart and plus the 30-minute chart, there is some kind of the bearish bias. And
so it was going down, like I said.
Right now, we
Crazy.
can draw a trend line.
Crazy.
Get some kind of triangle here. And
Got scared.
There is some bearish triangle right now.
No of the lies.
You are absolutely
We got
right.
super scared.
There is a bearish bias here for the indices.
The S&P 500.
Yeah, I'd say I'd feel a lot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I'd feel. No worries. I'm just saying I'd be a lot more confident on it once we start cracking these lows. We've had the trend line break and we've bounced, but once we start cracking these lows, then it's like yes, we're on our way kind of thing. But for now, it's just a small position. Just looking for it, just kind of probing ahead, anticipating that this is the lower high, and then we break. So that's that one. The other trade I've got on at the moment, or watching.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, sure.
Never mind. You have another trade. Never mind. Go ahead.
Actually, we're not at the trigger level yet, but yeah, you go ahead. I'll come back to it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just quick thing. Yeah, I wanted to put in that the S&P 500 is correlated with the Japanese yen pairs. The yen pairs.
Okay, so we have the
they're opposite to
FTM.
each other. If the S&P 500 is going up, the yen pairs are usually weakening, and if the yens are strengthening, then the S&P 500 is usually weakening. So it's an inverse correlation. When one goes up, the other one goes down. So it's interesting to see how that's playing out.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because just out of interest, if we can just go to the shorter term chart on dollar yen, which is already kind of, as you say, it's made its move. The rally in the stock market was this. So stock market rally, dollar yen rally, and notice how dollar yen retraced all of it and then continued. So I think that's what we've got in store for the stock market. I think dollar yen is kind of leading the way a little bit. So the relief rally on the tariff news was completely retraced. So anyone who bought on it is now underwater. And now the real trend continues. And I think we're going to see a similar move on the S&P.
Are we doing a bounce? What are we doing?
I guess
Now that we're under here and we kind of...
of leads me on to my potential trade. My second potential trade is short sterling yen. We're not there yet. It's been a little bit boring today, but if I could just zoom into this one. So again, there's the news-related move, and we've since broken down quite, I think in Elliott wave terms, quite impulsively down to the low that we saw earlier. From that point, we're seeing a little bit of a choppy bounce, but no real momentum on the upside as of yet on this one. So I think if we were to reverse and start cracking through some of these lows on the intraday chart, which is where I've got my sell entry, 186.45. If we can start to reverse and start to break down through those lows, probably in conjunction with the S&P breaking down, then I think we start to see the next leg down on sterling yen. But it's kind of an anticipatory trade again. So if the S&P breaks down, then I'm going to be quite in the money on that one, and this will be kind of almost adding to it in some respects. So that's kind of where I am on my strategies for the day.
Nice.
So can I start a little bit?
Has your sterling trade got?
Yes, we will see very soon. I will just share just to see what's happened. First, let me see how the trade is going on. Then we will go with analysis. So right now we are in profit. Just to see, can you see me? Not yes. Okay, just to show first the platform. So on the platform right now we can see that there's something. I think that I will show on a different chart or that kind of analysis. But a lot of traders, they see like they see some kind of the pattern on the 1 minute chart, on 15-minute chart. It looks like some pattern, some bearish pattern on the chart, and they decide to make a short trade, which is very often in this volatile, strong trends a huge mistake. So I
all right, let's see.
made that mistake. So now I'm doing opposite. So I will just
Looking for a failed
charts
entry for
to analyze
long.
that in some better way, where we can see really the past price.
On the 300 tick mark.
You will be able to see.
A little aggressive.
Now you see it. Okay. So I will just show you here what is the problem. So we have the highest high for British pound dollar just a couple hours ago at 1.3143. Then we went down. Then we go up on a lower level, and we start to go down. And look this price here. It was near to 1.306, and a lot of traders will make a sell order here because they think, oh, this is the opportunity.
Looks like we might be bouncing now.
Right now, we have a lot of traders use a double bottom or reverse patterns when they trade. However, when you have this kind of the trend, this is the
Order
really
filled.
strong
Stop
trend.
filled.
Just show this in the 30-minute chart.
Order
This is
filled.
the April 4, and this is the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, and we have one trend line from the April 4, 7 days, when we have the normal British pound dollar movements. Usually 6-7 hours, we have one direction, 6-7 hours, another direction, and now we have 7 days, one bullish trend. When we watch only relative strength index oscillator, so it's a really remarkable trend and very strong trend line. When we break this trend line, only then I can think to wait for some sell order, but only then. Till that, I'm bullish for British pound dollar. So this is the very important.
All right.
thing.
So overall,
Now,
we're just gonna go ahead and target the
when I
high
entered into the trade here
of yesterday.
this level,
in
just
the prior
2
day.
minutes. And again, we're above 1.31. Of course, we're playing here. I don't know what will happen. That can happen anything. We can break this 1.305 level and start to go down. There's no problem with that. However, what I think that's happened right now, that we are retesting 100 level on the US dollar currency index.
Stop filled.
And that retest is everything. So if price
All right.
rejects 100 level and start to go down, we are bullish and we are going up for British pound dollar and vice versa. So
We're a lot better, but we will just leave it like that, guys.
This trade I will close at the end of the day, because this is the I cannot say scalping, but this is the really short time trade. I wanted to use a small pullback during the US opening range. Now just to see where we are on the chart. So based on this chart right now, we are very near to the last week high 1.32 level, and I'm waiting to see will we approach this level today. Now when we watch, it's a 100 pips to this target, but suppose that we have crazy volatility these days. Everything is possible. So
you never know, do you? You never know how quick it can happen.
No, this is the really, and I will show you, for example, my trade from the morning, and you will see how that crazy volatility is a movement. So just to give a bias from the Mayer levels and Gann theory. So we are here very near to 8/8 ultimate resistance area. However, there is a high probability that we can go up to 1.34 area. It's because it's a September high, and I'm talking like this, and I'm telling that there is a big probability for that, because on euro dollar we broke this ultimate
I like
support,
taking
and
gamble
believe or not,
$1
this candle
trades
showed
with.
that we touched the level from the 2021. So it was the really 4
Soul.
years ago high we touched today. And the crazy thing is that yesterday close was on the yesterday high, for example. So
Wait, how
fast.
do I not have any in
So
there for
every
pay?
single day, 200 pips. It's uncommon for euro dollar, especially for euro dollar. For British pound dollar, I can imagine, but for euro dollar, this is insane, because euro dollar is a slow mover when we compare for British pound dollar, but right now it's crashing, and I like to monitor that and to see what will happen there. So Aussie on the daily chart, very good. I'm seeing, for example, that
Ooh, we lost that trade.
bearish trend line that we have from the February month.
All right,
And
so let's get
I
on
see
here.
that we break Aussie dollar, this trend line today.
We have traded
Today's close. I will wait maybe next week to see pullback.
Right funded.
Maybe I will make a buy order, but I want to retest this trend line, relative strength index first.
We traded
And
our
the same thing is for New Zealand dollar, the same shape.
FTM.
Breaking a little bit this trend line, but like I said, when we watch the daily chart, we need to wait to see a daily close.
We traded
And
two of our
then when I
Olas.
see the daily close, I will decide is it break or not, because a lot of time this breakout will disappear.
We were
on the end
positive,
of
and
this
it looks
day,
like we actually
because
might
there are
lose
the
those
sentiment
now.
works, after the candle close. So this is the Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar. And for US
Ripperonis.
dollar, Japanese yen, we are touch the channel. We are on the channel support, and this is very interesting to see what will happen here. Can we hold? Maybe bullish, maybe not. What will be here? But I want to wait for something, and then maybe to enter into the trade, because this channel is just an imaginary line. I don't know, will market follow my line? So this is the only to think about that, but I don't have any trigger for buy order yet. And now what I want to show you is, yes, I have one trade. It's a trade. This is my stop loss and entry point. wait to see. Maybe market start to go up, and then maybe I catch some big trend. If I don't, no problem, because I'm protected with the stop loss right now.
Yeah, you got in at a nice level. You got in at a very good level, so you don't have to worry about it.
Level, yes, just because of that. But like you said, there is a bearish bias here, so I don't know what will happen here. And now what I want to show you is the trades from the morning. I opened here offline charts, so I can show without any problem. I will show you the 30-minute chart. So what's happened early morning? Early morning when I was wake up, it was a really early, around I think 6 a.m. in my country, and that was the moment when I took my phone and I saw that we touched 100 level for the US dollar index, and I started to watch my charts. So it was I think it was this moment in the morning. I will just make this line here. This is the moment when we touch 100 level, and the price started to some kind of reaction, and then we got a bearish trend for euro dollar, British pound dollar in that moment. And then something that's really, really insane. We had a GDP report, so it's a really high impact news for British pound dollar. It was minus 0.1%. And we expected 0.1% positive result. We got 5 times better results, 0.5%. I think that in every single circumstance, we will got some huge spike for British pound dollar. And believe it or not, during that news, price started to go down. And just reject news because the traders do not watch the news anymore. They just play this volatility and chase for good levels to enter into the trade. And I waited, and now I will show you the 1-minute chart. And this is the moment when we had the news. I wait the price start to go down, and then I see the consolidation on 1-minute chart. One time, second time, and here I made a buy order somewhere here because I thought that, oh, I make a break. But the good thing is I made a little bit bigger stop loss area, like in this trade now, and the price started to go up. And believe it or not, when we were on the level 1.3, in just 15-20 minutes, we went 50 pips up.
Wow.
50 pips up. And I realized, yes, I can.
Crazy intraday movement.
And in that moment, there is some small reaction because now, in this moment, this is the daily high. This is the weekly high actually. And in this moment, again, there is a reaction and pull back down. And because my trade was around 1.3 level and the price was very near here at the half at 1.3025, I enter one more trade, and this is more luck than science and knowledge. It's just because my position here, as the price started to go up
I'm
again,
confused.
and I had 2 positive trades. This trade, I hold a little bit above this level and put a stop loss 10 pips in profit. And this trade, very, very fast, I just made to be breaking. And I just let it go. And price started to go up and up and up and up. And then I needed to decide which target should I take. And what I did, I will just show that chart again. It is the best to see the daily chart. The daily chart here. It was the yesterday Friday, and maybe it's better to take this chart like this. Yes, this is so we touched 1.32 last Friday. Price started to go down, and here there is a oscillation. So I put my target here at around level 1.32. trade and 75 pips with another trade. And this week actually, if I'm honest, I had a 30% winning rate because my Monday was beautiful and my Friday was beautiful. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I had a bad. Actually, it was a good trade because I love that trade. I had a decent stop loss, excellent entry.
Don't know that I like
point.
that trade.
I like my trades. But the
Okay, what are we doing there?
I was in Tuesday. I shared that video because I made a screen of the whole process in Tuesday. Traders can watch that because the whole process I showed. I picked excellent entry position. I put excellent stop loss, even 10, 15 pips below the low. So everything I did excellent. And price, believe or not, touched my support, closed my trade, went 2 pips down, and then 60 pips up. And I, instead of the winning trade, I had a losing trade. And I showed that in that video. So it was frustrating, but actually it's a part of the trading. I didn't chase after that. I just said, okay, another session.
All right, our Aussie trade actually turned back around. We're doing pretty good there.
And when I analyze my trades, 30% winning ratio, but excellent risk-reward ratio for this week and profit. So
I don't know about that trade.
This trade that I made.
Yeah, we finished out here.
Just for the testing, and it will be just the ordinary trade because I just want to tell all traders that watch this. There should be no emotional touch to the trades. There's no anything to chase. Just need to relax and to accept any kind of the loss because it's normal. Because I cannot predict the market. I don't know right now, as you can see, this trade. I don't know. First, we are about 1.41 level. Now we are again something down. I don't know what will happen here, but I have bias. I have a stop loss, so I have a target. No problem. So this is the something that I don't want to think about that. And this is, I think, the best approach, psychologically the best approach. So
No,
just
totally
remove
agree.
this
Totally
chart.
agree.
So friends, do you have some interesting setup maybe for some swing trading or something like that, long-term trades? Some idea for the next week maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just show you what I got on the longer term stuff. So.
Yes, please, Howard.
Okay.
You need to look for the
we may have
inspiration.
seen. Yeah, we need some inspiration. Hang on. We may have seen this one before, but just to show you where I think we are in the long term, the cycles and things.
Dang, we missed the runner, guys. Missed the runner.
Okay, let me know when it comes through.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Now, yes, we have.
There you go.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So again, just kick it off with euro dollar. So yeah, I think we looked at it last week, but I think we are in the very early stages of a long-term, multi-year
Prop 365 we traded.
and I think we're at a similar stage to where we were back in 2002 on euro dollar. Remember the dollar index chart that we looked at before?
We gotta
So
hit
just
our
flip it upside
AquaFunded.
down. So we're kind of that was the end of the last bear market for euro dollar here in 2000. Then we had the first leg up, a little correction, deep correction, sideways, and then we got the breakout, and that kicked off the whole trend. And I think we're at a very similar stage now where we've had a multi-year correction downside.
Are we gonna see any sort of retest here?
It came pretty close, but it never took it out. So it's a corrective decline, in my opinion. The trend is up for euro dollar, multi-year, multi-decade. 2022 was the end of the correction, or the end of the bear market, if you will. First leg up, ABC correction, second leg correction of the first leg up, as we were back here, and now we're breaking through the wave 1 high, which is what we did back here. So when we talk about ranges expanding and volatility exploding, look what happened last time. These are monthly ranges. So we were in a very, very tight, tight monthly ranges here because nobody knew which way the market was going to go. And then as it started to break higher, we started to see these big monthly ranges. So volatility really exploded as we started this new trend. And I think that's essentially what we're doing right here, right now.
Right now we got to determine.
So I think we're targeting, at least we're targeting these highs, mid 120s for
we're going to come
dollar.
back into
I think
the
ultimately
range.
we're going to go much, much higher, but that's for another day. That's a story for another day. Moving on to, let's get dollar yen. That's the one which I want
Or
to
are we going to drop?
take a look at. So dollar yen again, early stages of a multi-year
Yesterday's
cycle.
low.
So this is where we are right now on dollar yen. I know you were talking about it maybe losing momentum on this this recent push lower, but I think we are in a very similar stage to where we were back here, but obviously the other way around. So that was a major bottom. This I think is a major top. The rally from the 2011 low breaks down as an Elliott three-wave move, an ABC, A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for wave C. So that completes the whole three-wave move. And then we started to do 1 down, 2 up, and now we're starting to break down, which I think we're kind of in the early stages of a wave 3 decline, which should take us way, way down on dollar yen. In a similar way to this, this wave 3 took us up in a straight line from the low here. Any thoughts on those guys?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I'm hoping if the dollar weakness continues, I 100% agree with you. That pair, that support level, I think it can blow straight through it. Especially if we get yen strength that comes back in. If this dollar weakness continues for days and days and days, and we're just consolidating at that point, and now we finally got some yen strength coming in, man, I really do think that pair could push really hard, especially with the moves we've been making. Historical supports seem to not matter anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just throw them out. Yeah, overbought, oversold. Throw them out the window for the time being.
Yeah.
This is sterling yen on a similar kind of scale. So yeah, I guess if we were to start to crack through this low here on sterling yen, which is just above 180, the figure, which is a long way off in kind of real terms for us, but it's gravitating towards that level. To be fair, it could be a yen-led move once it goes. Euro sterling, so euro yen perhaps not as clear for me. That one still seems to be very 50-50 in terms of the range. I think I'd have to start to see it much lower within the range to think it's a really broad-based yen move. But typically when dollar yen does go, the other two go with it. So I've got this as possibly the end of the whole cycle as well, but it's a little bit early days. I need to see it a bit lower first before I can get confident about it. So yeah, really interesting moves coming up on a lot of these markets. Let's just stop sharing there.
When I watch this US dollar Japanese yen chart that you just show, when we watch monthly levels, I see that in 2021 we started that bullish trend. But what is interesting is that on the March 19 last year, the Bank of Japan, they ended its negative interest rate policy and raising the rate to a range between 0 and 0.1%.
I don't want to trade, guys.
And it was the first
Really
increase
trading.
up to 17 years. And that fundamentally can maybe push that in the opposite way. Maybe can push US dollar Japanese yen to downside. So we can see, of course, what we'll see. But I just think about that you're completely right. So November 2011, so is a similar turning point like this moment now. So
it feels that way. It feels that way.
Yes, yes. See, there is one big difference. That move was made by George Soros. now we need him to help us to put it down. But I will try what I can do. But I think that few lots cannot change that. So for sure.
So just to jump in, the S&P is starting to break those lows now, so hopefully we start to get the momentum. Let me just present my screen. Hopefully, where's it gone? Let's try that. Okay, hopefully it should be coming through.
Yes, here it is.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like it survived the test of the highs. Now we're starting to see a little bit of session weakness. Again, we've taken out that low, and we're just threatening this kind of low here. So I think once as we speak, it looks like we're possibly doing it. I think we should start to see the acceleration low and a very weak close for the S&P. This is one to watch. This could be a good live trade on the short side for the stock market. Let's just take a look at sterling yen, see whether we're close on that one, because that one should be not too far away. Let's see, sterling yen. Okay, no, we're still a little bit away from it, but you never know. Once we start to get the acceleration on the S&P, if we get it, then this thing should hopefully. I'm just looking for it basically to take out these lows on the intraday chart.
Yes. Which level is that?
Sterling yen on a 15-minute chart. This is.
Yes. Now, which level?
86.45.
86.45.
So I'm looking. Yeah, 186.45. Not a million miles away, really. There's another one a little bit higher up. That could be a trigger as well. But I've kept it at 86.45 for the time being. So once we start to break, then that could be a good catalyst for a late decline on this one. We had a similar situation a couple of days ago, where it's this kind of situation here where it went sideways for a lot of the session, and then in the afternoon session we saw a big kind of move down. So it could be one of those surprise moves where nobody at the moment is thinking it's going down because it's just been going sideways and pushing a bit higher. But again, this could be a curveball that once we start to break these lows, then anyone who bought the breakout here will be stopping themselves out, and then we start to head down in an aggressive move. So let's keep an eye on that one.
Nice.
Excellent.
Well, does anybody have any questions about what we've been talking about? Feel free to ask questions. There's never a stupid question, especially in this industry.
No.
It's always good to ask a question. You're only helping yourself at that point.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's funny. There's so many different ways to look at the same thing. The same market. Yeah. We'll look at things slightly differently, and we'll come up with our views and things and our biases, etc. So yeah, there's no right answer. I don't think.
All right.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's interesting now. We're all starting to see the same thing, a little bit. There's a lot of consistency in what we're all talking about in terms of trends and pairs we're looking at. So I really like that when the markets start to follow each other and they start to spread to other markets.
Okay, we got all our aquas in.
Commodities and all that stuff. That's a beautiful market for me. I really like when that happens. That to me it confirms a stable market. Trends are really strong at that point.
We got our
I think that's
our PaidPex is in.
One question, Nandan. What do you think
I
about?
like what you guys were saying.
We did get FX.
Yes, please, Howard. Please stay.
In.
Sorry, I like what you guys are saying about the Aussie and the Kiwi, because I was looking for those two to base out and join the rally, but obviously when the news came out last week, they went down initially. I didn't expect that kind of new lows for the downtrend in the Aussie and the Kiwi, but obviously that V-shaped reversal that we've seen on both of those since then, that to me shows me broad-based dollar weakness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just think fundamentally about Aussie and Kiwi, and when I think about them, first they're in a good shape, relates to economy and
Order filled.
On the other way, if we see the tariff war between the between the US and the rest of the world, because the Australian economy, New Zealand economy, they're huge exporters. The price
Ooh, not good.
goods and all that raw that they want to export will increase, and I think that they will increase the profitability on that side. So I think when we fundamentally watch that, it's a good for their economy. So I just thinking I want to see recovery for Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, and I'm a little bit surprised why, for example, why euro is so strong right now when we compare to British pound, Aussie, Kiwi, and the rest of the world. And this is something that surprised me, because I think that this tariff war is tough for everyone, maybe for euro more than ever, and we have this situation. So it's little bit tricky, but I would like to find some fundamental reason, so I can find the bias and the trigger in that way too. So we will see what will happen there.
Yeah, I know that if I remember, the first leg of the euro dollar and the sterling dollar rallies, they came on the back of the increase in spending on defence, and the government bond yields rose quite sharply in UK and Euroland. So maybe that could be some kind of catalyst there, where you've got the spreads between the government bond, US versus Europe.
Yeah.
It could be something like that. Could be.
Yes, that's beautiful, but I'm surprised that Europe continues
Struggling there.
that fast grow
Uh-oh.
so fast, and it's a little surprise for euro dollar. So I didn't expect that. I wait 400 pips, 6 to 12 months, not 2 days. So
Right.
it's a little.
These markets,
it's a little bit
they move too fast for us sometimes, huh?
Yeah. For the positional traders, that can be very good, because they're sideways 2 months, and in 5 days they make 5, 6, 7%. So
Yeah.
so this is the territory for them. So do you have some charts maybe to share more? Do you have something interesting here?
Let's see. I've got I keep. Yeah, I like to watch crude oil. That's had a really good breakdown as well lately.
Stop filled.
Excellent. Let me see.
Okay, here we go. Coming through.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, is that through now?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's funny how a lot of these markets have been doing stuff that's straight out of the technical analysis textbooks lately. We had the S&P and Bitcoin doing a double top, then a retest, then a breakdown, and now we've had this crude oil, West Texas, breakdown finally through this support line of the descending triangle, and now it looks like it's headed much lower on the long term, on the weekly chart. I think we're headed down here. I think we're headed down to 40 to 50 on this thing, maybe the 40 area. Just to all of these longs need to be squeezed out. That's the COVID low down here back in 2020.
Wow.
So maybe it's one of those situations where we're kind of entering into a bit of a recessionary period, perhaps, and price of crude oil goes down. It could be something like that. But certainly there's a lot of overhead supply above the 64, 65 level, and now we're starting to see the breakdown. So it could be another one to sell the retest, or just wait for a sideways move before selling it again, kind of thing.
Yes.
And we actually had a similar kind of thing in dollar CAD, but on a much smaller level. The breakdown that we've had on dollar Canada, we were looking at the where's it gone? At the descending triangle on the daily chart on that one, where we had the first wave down, the second wave correction, and then we had that kind of flat bottom there, and we've even had a retest, which gave a nice kind of shorting opportunity there, and then the lower highs that came in from from here. That's descending triangle, breakdown, retest, and then breaks again. So yeah, interesting to see how a lot of the textbooks on technical analysis have been pretty good lately. They're looking quite good.
Yeah.
Okay.
With all this dollar strength,
Harry,
we got some
we are
fantastic
just
trends available. I just really hope
besides ourselves right now. What
when
is
the dollar
what is
pairs
Bitcoin
start
doing?
to consolidate, when they eventually will, my goal is to see the cross currency, or the currency it's against, take over in terms of driving the movement. Right now we have the
I don't know,
pure
but we're
dollar
just gonna
weakness
go ahead and
driving
sail.
everything. Other than the dollar Swiss, Swissy strong, we have dollar making
Oops,
the major.
wrong one.
It's the major driver. So I really want to see if it starts to consolidate. I want to see the cross currency, or the currency it's against, start driving it. So then that's going to give a continuation into those trends. That dollar CAD, I really think, man, that's a phenomenal looking chart on the larger time frame. So I really like to see some CAD strength come into play, or both. The dollar's still weak and the Canadian dollar comes in. That'd be the best case scenario, and that's the best way you'll ever make money in this.
Yeah.
You gotta pair strong versus weak and see what's going on with these pairs. I don't like to look at a single pair. I like to see,
Oh man,
for
we
example, the dollar
just
CAD.
got
What is
jacked.
the dollar doing against every other pair, and then what is the Canadian dollar doing against every other pair? Then I make my decision of, okay, the dollar is showing clear weakness. The Canadian dollar is pretty much neutral. So there's not enough resistance for it. The dollar weakness is so strong that it's going to push the dollar CAD, down. It's not because the CAD's strong. It's because the dollar is just so damn weak. So
Yeah.
I'd hope to see the best case scenario is the Canadian dollar being strong and the dollar being weak. So that would it's interesting. It would be interesting to see how it changes next week. But
Yeah. So
yeah,
better
I can't wait for
better,
this weekend.
yeah, but better to attack the the very strong versus the very weak kind of thing.
Yeah. That's the best case scenario. Very strong versus very weak, and that's what you have
Yeah.
with the dollar Swiss.
Yeah.
Can you see the trade which I took just a little bit to see what's happened there? So this moment is good to do something because I made a very small trade here. I will trade another trade here, just like this, and I will here put the same stop loss. Sometimes I'm doing this when I have very small positions. So I will put my stop loss in 3049. I will put my profit to 313 level, which was a good target. And the same thing I will do with this position here. And this is very small risk, and I don't feel uncomfortable to lose this trade.
Well.
However, we oscillate here. There's no bullish momentum there, but there is one good thing. They're more
Might
than
get
1
wrecked
hour after the US opening
on our
range.
funded account over
We
here.
didn't start any counter trend. So we are still above the middle line from the lowest and high point of today, and this is the 1.305, which is excellent. And there is a chance that we can survive and start to go up again. If my trade is just failed, no problem. But I think this is the okay. Of course, people like always to see the momentum and pushing and go to the target, but sometimes this sideways market is good, because when sideways market ended, usually is going to the main trend, usually, and I think that we are here in this situation, but we will see what will happen. What do you think about this trade and momentum for British pound dollar?
show the what the heat map is showing right now.
Okay.
Hopefully you can
Order filled.
Yes.
see it. Okay. You had the pound dollar, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, dollar obviously is weak. It's the weakness started in the Asian session. The pound is it's kind of neutral. It's showing some weakness. You know, we have red bars. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 red bars. That means the the cross currency is starting to strengthen, and if it's green, that means the base currency is starting to strengthen. So, looking at all of these bars here, the percentages aren't really showing me much. I'd like to see consistency. You know, at least 0.25% on all these pairs. Going in the same direction. Yeah, we kind of got some pairs going in one direction and some pairs going in the other. So I think the pound is just more so mixed. The dollar is showing some weakness, but again, that weakness came from the Asian session. You know, it's a continuation. So it's definitely not a fresh movement. For me personally, it's hard for me to say anything with what can happen just because the percentages are. It's a continuation of the move, so you know the market starts to consolidate or move a little bit slower than it would when it's in peak main session trading. You know, we're pretty much, for me, it's past the main session, so I think ranges definitely do play a big part of this time in the market. Ranges are something you should pay attention to if you're trying to get into a long-term trend trade, you know, on the pound dollar now, or this dollar Swiss now. I think you've missed it. I think now it's more your priorities need to shift to looking at ranges and definitely on the smaller time frame. So that's kind of where I am. My stance is on the pound dollar.
Excellent. Excellent. So, guys, I see that this is the end of this session, if I'm not wrong. And
Yeah.
want to tell you
Okay.
that I wish you a great weekend. I wish you
Enjoy.
the great weather and the market conditions. so
Same.
so enjoy in this day and weekend.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye
one.
bye.
Bye.
Alright, guys. All the peace, all the love. We have to go as well. See you later.